Hey everyone, thanks for joining me on a spooky Book Talks with Mr. Max. It's a very special season. It's the best time of the year, of course, much better than any other holidays. This is what it's all about, Halloween. It's about spooky, scary books. So we have so many spooky, scary books at the White Oak Library. You need to come in and check all these out. We've got some awesome ones we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about 6 frightening, horrifying, bone-chilling books. Our first book is by Jonathan Auxier. It is called The Night Gardener, and it takes place in Victorian England, which is like the late 1800s, if you're into that. It's about a haunted mansion. It's about ghosts and specters, which are like ghosts haunting this mansion. The main characters are 2 young children. They're recently orphaned from the Irish potato famine, so very, very sad stuff, sad lives, and they go to work on an English manor house. So it's this beautiful mansion place, and there are many servants there, and Kit and sister Molly go to work there, and they need to take this job because they're orphans now. There's something horribly creepy about this house. It's dilapidated, it's falling apart, and a gigantic oak tree has overtaken it. It's growing in and around the house. No one seems to know why or think that's odd except for Kip and Molly. And so they need to figure out the mystery of this house, why it's haunting this family, this poor family. Can they help them? Can they save themselves? And who is the night gardener? He inhabits the house at night. He's like the ghost. So read this book, The Night Gardener by Jonathan Auxier. It's a great book. Jonathan Auxier is an outstanding French-Canadian author. He's got a lot of other good books I've read. Highly recommend this. It's a long book. It's 384 pages, so it may take you a little while. So if you're one of our older tween readers, I think you're really going to like The Night Gardener. Not super scary, more creepy and weird than it is really bone-chillingly terrifying. So that's The Night Gardener by Jonathan Auxier, a very good book. The next one we have is called Thejumbies, and it is by Tracy Baptiste. Now, what is a jumbie, you might say? I did not know what a jumbie is until I read this book. A jumbie is a malevolent spirit believed to inhabit forests and areas in the Caribbean, and this book takes place in Trinidad, which is a little island off the coast of Venezuela. It's a country, Trinidad and Tobago, and that's where Tracy Baptiste, the author, has family from. So she decided to write about the Thejumbies and their mythology and what the spirits that dwell in the forests. The Thejumbies have a tie to the land, and they're not necessarily evil, but in this case they are, because they're trying to retake over land that was taken from them. So the Thejumbies are frightening. There are many different kinds of Thejumbies. One is a terrifying ball of flame. The other is looks normal but has like the feet of an ox or a cow. So they're very creepy. This book is pretty scary, pretty violent. So if you're more of a timid reader, I wouldn't necessarily recommend the Thejumbies, but I really like it. I am a very timid reader. I get scared easily of anything, but I really like the Thejumbies. It's about a young girl who has just recently lost her mother, and but she is not afraid of anything. She's certainly not afraid of any Thejumbies. So, but this book, it is an intense book. It's a 3-parter, so there are 2 more sequels after this one. So if that sounds cool, if you want to learn more about the Thejumbies and Trinidad culture, check that out by Tracy Baptiste. It's a good one. Our next book we have is The Last Kids on Earth, and it's by Max Brallier. And this book is a really fun read. It has a lot of illustrations, a lot of fun comics in this, so it's an easy read. It's a quick read. It's about the monster apocalypse, the zombie apocalypse. There are also monsters in it too. So the kids have a lot to deal with. It's about a group of 4 kids who don't necessarily start off as friends, but look, it's the zombie apocalypse. You're going to have to make friends and learn how to get along with each other. They befriend the school bully, another character who's just this ultra tough she's a really cool girl, and they become friends with her as well. So The Last Kids on Earth is a really awesome, cool series. So the 7th book just recently came out for the Last Kids on Earth series. This is the first one. It's just called The Last Kids on Earth. There's also a Netflix series that deals with this. So the first season of the Netflix show is about the first book. So this was a really cool, fun book. I really enjoyed reading it. Super fast to read for reluctant readers. I think you're really going to like this. Boys and girls will like this too, I think. But just really fun. There's the main villain in this book, Blarg, I believe his name is. Incredibly creepy, scary monster. So The Last Kids on Earth, highly recommend that. Really fun, cool read. Zombies, monsters. How could you go wrong? Our next book is by Melissa Savage, and it is called Nessie Quest. And if you're familiar with the cryptozoology world, which is like the study of animals that may or may not have existed, or may not still exist. In this case, it's the Loch Ness Monster, which is in Scotland. A loch is a lake or a sea inlet, and that's what they call them in Scotland. They don't call them lakes. And then the monster is Nessie, because she lives in the Loch of Ness. And so this book is about an American girl who goes to Scotland with her family over the summer. She doesn't want to go there. Scotland is kind of dreary and boring to her. She wants to go to Disney World, of course. Who wouldn't want to go to Disney World? But she goes to Scotland with her family and happens to live near Loch Ness and becomes enamored with the quest for Nessie. And so can her new Scottish friends. One is called Hammy Bean. He's the best character in the book. Everyone loves him, and they are on the hunt for Nessie. What is Nessie? What secrets does Nessie hold? And can they actually find her? Nessie Quest. I enjoyed this book because I like Melissa Savage as an author. I've read a few of her books. They're always somewhat creepy, somewhat funny. So not a scary book for younger readers. I think they will enjoy this if you're more timid. But Nessie Quest was a good one. So check out Melissa Savage and Nessie Quest. And then our next book is called Babysitting Nightmares, The Shadow Hand. This is a series. I believe there are actually 4 parts in this series. So this is the first one called The Shadow Hand. It's about a group of babysitters. So if you're into the Babysitters Club, if you're into Goosebumps, I think you're going to love this. It's a mixture of both of those. It's a really quick, easy read. So for younger readers or reluctant readers, I think you're going to like this one. So as you can guess, the girls are babysitting. There's a stormy night. The power goes out. Baby Kyle is who Rebecca is tasked with babysitting. The power goes out. The power comes back on. Baby Kyle is not what he seemed. He's been replaced with a changeling, a shapeshifter, and they have to deal with the Nightmare Queen, who's the villain in this. You can see her. She is just a supernatural force. Not quite a witch, not quite a demon, but she's not one to be messed with. But of course our babysitting squad need to overcome, and they need to get the baby back, need to get Kyle back. So if you're a fan of the movie Labyrinth, I think you're really going to like this movie. It's a very similar setup, but an easy read, a quick read, and there's 4 parts in this series, so if you like that, be sure to check out Babysitting Nightmares, The Shadow Hand. And our last book was a really cool book. I had seen this book sitting around on our shelves a lot, called The Malamander. And what is a malamander? Well, a malamander is a sea creature, half man, half fish, and it inhabits the town of Erie-on-Sea, which is an English town, a fictional English town, and this is just a weird, mystical, magical place. Author Thomas Taylor paints a really great picture of this town, Erie-on-Sea. It's a vacation town in the summer, but in the winter, which is when the Malamander takes place, it's a desolate town. There's not much around, just the people who work in the hospitality business, who work in the hotels, and our main character, Herbie, works at the hotel. He's a lost and finder of lost things, so he works at the hotel and he is tasked with solving mysteries of the hotel guests, and in this case he has to solve not necessarily the mystery of the Malamander, but he meets a friend and they have to solve the mystery of her past. And there's a lot going on. The Malamander is lurking around. There's also a villain, a hook-handed man in a fisherman's outfit. Very, very frightening indeed. So So check out the Malamander. It's the first of a 3-part series of that take place in Erie on the Sea. So I think you're really going to like this world that Thomas Taylor has created. It was a really fun, not necessarily a scary story, creepy and just interesting. But the Malamander is the legendary beast that haunts the town. So I hope you come in and check out all of these awesome, creepy, scary, spooky stories. We have so many more depending on what you like to read. If you like monsters, zombies, witches, vampires, werewolves, we have it all for you here at White Oak Library. So come on in, ask a librarian, and we'll find you the scary story that you're looking for. So thanks for joining me. Have a great day. Goodbye, everybody.